Welcome to Bedtime Horror, your portal to scary stories.
It was a gloomy Saturday when me and my buddies decided to check out an old mansion. People in town always said it was haunted, and we wanted to see if it was true. We didn't really believe in ghosts, but the excitement was buzzing in the air as we walked up to the creaky gate. We opened the gate and walked in, and you could feel the excitement in the air. The mansion looked spooky, surrounded by overgrown bushes that looked like they had seen better days. We laughed to act brave, but I could see in everyone's eyes, we were a bit scared. The front door was slightly ajar, so we pushed it open and stepped inside. The air inside felt heavy, and the place smelled old, like the dusty books in the back of the library. We didn't have a plan. We were just there to explore and maybe find something interesting. The floorboards squeaked under our sneakers, and every little sound made us jump. Everyone was on their guard as we walked down the hallway. A door slammed shut somewhere deep inside the mansion. It echoed through the empty halls, and we all froze. Maybe it's just the wind, but we weren't so sure. It all felt spooky as hell. In one of the rooms, we found an old creaky wardrobe. When we opened it, clothes from who knows how long ago hung there, and we joked about dressing up like ghosts ourselves. But then, did Sarah notice a small hidden door behind the wardrobe? It was barely noticeable, and we couldn't resist to explore it. We pushed the hidden door open, and it led to a dusty, dimly lit room. Our flashlights swept across the walls and floor. The room was filled with old furniture covered in dusty sheets, like it was frozen in time. It gave us the chills, but also a rush of excitement. Suddenly we heard some weird sounds. It sounded like footsteps from somewhere in the mansion. We huddled together whispering, "Who's there?" But there was no answer. The footsteps got closer, and we could feel our hearts beating faster. That's when we decided it was time to find a way out. We hurried through the mansion's halls, trying to find an exit. We could hear a door open and close. "This is like a haunted maze," did I hear Tim whisper, but we kept going. The footsteps were still behind us, and the air felt colder with every step. We stumbled upon a room with old portraits on the walls. The eyes in those paintings seemed to follow us as we moved. "This place is giving me the creeps," Sarah admitted. In our attempt to escape, we discovered a staircase leading to the second floor. The steps creaked under our weight, but we climbed up, hoping to find a way out. The hallway on the second floor was even darker, with only the faint moonlight seeping through cracked windows. Confused and a bit scared, we heard a distant whisper. "Get out," it said. We ran along the corridor, determined to find an exit. Suddenly, a trapdoor opened beneath us, revealing a staircase leading down. We looked at each other and decided to take the stairs, hoping it would lead us out of the mansion. The staircase led to a basement filled with ancient crates and cobwebs. The air down there felt thick and musty. A faint light drew us to a corner, where we found an old chest. As we opened it, a cold breeze swept through the room. Inside the chest, we discovered old photographs and letters, telling stories of a family that once lived in the mansion. The more we read, the more it felt like the spirits of the past were trying to communicate with us. Suddenly we heard the footsteps again, and they were coming closer. We did see a doorway in the corner, and we rushed towards it. The footsteps behind us seemed to fade as we reached the door, and we found ourselves back in the hallway near the entrance. The mansion's front door stood wide open, as if inviting us to leave. We did run out, feeling a mix of relief and confusion. The gate slammed shut behind us, and the mansion seemed to sigh in silence. We stood there, catching our breaths, and promised each other never to return. The haunted mansion is a story that we never will forget. About 7 years ago, I found a new house at the edge of town. It was bigger than my previous house, and had all that I was looking for. Like a big bedroom and big kitchen. It looked like any other house, nothing special about it. The first few weeks were okay, just the usual settling in, unpacking boxes, and getting used to the new place. But after a while, strange things started happening. It all started when I looked in the mirror one day. I saw something move behind me, but when I turned around, there was nothing there. It gave me the creeps, but I brushed it off, thinking maybe it was just my imagination. But a few days later, I was standing in the kitchen doing the dishes, when I heard footsteps. It sent shivers down my spine, especially considering I lived alone. Each footstep seemed deliberate, like someone pacing back and forth in the hallway. Adding to the unsettling atmosphere, doors would creak open on their own. It wasn't like they swung open dramatically, just a slow, eerie creep, making me question the stability of the hinges. The air in those moments always carried an odd chill, different from the usual temperature of the house. I tried my best to brush it off, convincing myself that it was merely an old house, making those weird noises. Yet, the persistent footsteps and the self-opening doors created an uneasy feeling, like the house had a secret life of its own when I wasn't watching. The mirror thing kept happening. I'd catch glimpses of movement, but when I turned around, the room was empty. It happened so often that I started avoiding mirrors altogether. One night, as I was watching TV, I heard the footsteps again. They were louder this time, like someone was walking right behind me. I turned around fast, expecting to see someone there, but no one was. It gave me the shivers. I started feeling like the house had a mind of its own. It was starting to get on my nerves, and I couldn't shake the feeling that something was off. The mirror, the footsteps, the doors, it was all just too much. I decided I couldn't stay there anymore. The house was starting to feel scarier than any place should be. I made up my mind to move out, find a new place, and leave the strange happenings behind. So, after 6 months of dealing with the weird stuff in that house, I decided it was time to pack up and go. I couldn't handle the constant feeling that I wasn't alone, even when I was by myself. One day, as I was packing my stuff, I caught a glimpse of something in the mirror again. It was like a shadow, moving quickly. This time, I didn't even bother turning around. I just kept packing, trying not to think too much about it. As I loaded the last box into the moving truck, I looked back at the house. It felt strange leaving it behind, but at the same time, I felt a huge relief. Maybe it was just an old house with lots of creaks and noises, or maybe there was something more to it. I didn't want to stick around to find out. On the drive to my new place, I kept glancing in the rearview mirror, half expecting to see something. But there was nothing. It was like a weight lifted off my shoulders, and I felt free from the strange happenings that haunted that old house. Now, in my new home, everything feels normal. No weird footsteps, no mysterious shadows in the mirror. It's just a regular house where I can finally relax. Now, the old house might be someone else's problem. But I'm just happy to be in a new place where the only thing I see in the mirror is my own reflection.
Thanks for watching, and I hope this story was to your liking.